training that you are going to look at, right? So we have notes on a daily basis, which I would be sharing out with you guys. And if you look at these notes, so all the examples that we take and whatever we do, right? So I do a daily notes kind of a thing where we add useful URLs and all those things, okay, whatever is required for the topic. And in addition to that, I'm also going to share the code with you, share the fundamentals, share my real-time experience and all that with you. Okay, that's how this training is going to be based. And yes, so for example, let's get started with the demo, like you would have an idea of how the teaching would be.
Just a quick question. So for how long it will take for this training to be completed? How many days? And what
Okay.
what amount of time will it take?
Yes, so daily I think I'm targeting for about 1.5 to 2 hours every day, at least 1.5 hours for sure. And it should take a total of about 1 month, which includes both the developer as well as the advanced developer. The developer should take me around 15 to 16 days. And let's say developer is going to take about 25 hours and advanced developer should be about 25. Total of around 45 to 50 hours I should be done. Let's say call it as 50 hours and I should be done. So it's a combination of both dev as well as advanced dev. Any other questions regarding the training? The topic sheet, I think it's already handed over with you, I guess, right? Alright, you could probably collect the topic sheet. Okay, so let us understand the training, like let us understand how this is going to go and all that stuff. Okay, let us straight away get started. I don't know if you've already seen the demo video. It's the same thing that we do on day one. Okay, so it's going to be more of an interaction. So which are the other CMS tools that all of you, okay, let us understand from starting. So what is a content management system? Right? A content management system is a web application. And what is the use of a content management system? It is used to build websites. But yes, even other tools like Java, .NET allows us to build websites. So what is the point of going for a content management system? So the main advantage of going for a content management system is it allows your non-technical users to edit, manage and build a website. Which means, let me open up a page. Okay. So if you look at this, right, the page here, right, every website is comprised of pages, and this page in turn is comprised of various reusable components. Okay, this page contains various reusable components. So if you look at this, this is the logo component. This moving image that you see is a carousel. This is a text, right? The entire page is comprised of different text sections. Now let's say I go and edit the value, right? And this is what your content management system gives you, right? It makes your content, it makes your entire website editable by a non-technical user. Okay. So now if you look at this, so do you see this? Had it been a typical Java application or had it been a .NET application, I would have had a JSP code or I would have had a .NET ASP code which I would have to edit each time I want to change the website. So that is the primary reason that I go for a content management system. So a content management system is a web application designed to make it easy for non-technical users to add, edit and manage a site. This one is what we understand about a content management system. So which are some of the content management systems which are available? So WordPress, which is open source, right? I mean, at least the base version of WordPress is open source, right? It's a PHP based one. There is Magnolia, there is Documentum, there's IBM. There are a lot of tools in the market. But why is that the Adobe Experience Manager, AEM, is the top selling in the market, right? So if you look at a report, so how do companies evaluate that we need AEM? Right? When there are so many other tools in the market, why AEM stands out? Right? So usually we have something called digital marketing space. Yeah? We have a digital marketing space. Now when I talk about digital marketing, Can you guys go on mute? There's a lot of disturbance. Hey, Supratim, can you please go on mute? Thank you. Okay, so when I talk about the digital marketing, right, just building a website is not enough, right? The whole idea of this digital marketing is once you build a website, right, how do you increase the brand loyalty, right? How do you have users coming into your website? How do you make users revisit your website, right? So the conversion from lead to cash is what matters, right? So the whole idea of building a website is to increase the customer presence as well as to increase the brand loyalty. So how do I go about doing that? Okay. Now, if you look at, so how do companies evaluate saying, hey, I want to use the Adobe Experience Manager? So there are some standard reports like Forrester's digital marketing report. So if you just Google for this Forrester's digital marketing, Adobe is the leader there. Right. Huh? So what organizations, I mean the architecture teams in organization do is they read these Forrester's reports where Adobe is positioned as a leader in Forrester Wave. They take other reports, Gartner's names Adobe leader again. Do you see this? Gartner's digital marketing quadrant. You could see the quadrant as well. Okay. So if you see this, Adobe is way ahead of all other CMS tools. Look at Oracle, look at Salesforce, Marketo, right? So which means it is a pioneer, right? So the moment they see that okay, Adobe leads everything, so they request for a demo of all the Adobe suite of products. And if you look at the Adobe suite of products here, this is the Adobe Marketing Cloud, in which AEM is just one of the solutions. In addition to AEM, right, AEM is used to build a website, which is well and fine. The website is ready. Now, once a website is ready, right, I would need something like an analytics. Right? So the analytics is used to track the users. The analytics is used to track the behavior. Right? For example, let's say I build a clothing website. Okay, something like a Myntra.com. Hey, is there any other agency other than, no, this Forresters and Gartners, these are the standard reports that architecture teams evaluate. Okay? These are the most standard reports in the market. There are a lot of others as well. So if you look at digital marketing tools evaluation, just Google for it. The standard ones are Adobe and Forresters. Okay? 5 steps to evaluate your company's digital marketing strategy. Okay? When you Google for it, look at folks. This is how to evaluate your, so yes, these are the most standard reports. Even if you want, you could just go Google it and you should see evaluate your marketing. So you just have to Google for digital marketing tools and you would see Adobe being the leader there. Okay. Now when I talk about the Adobe Marketing Cloud, Experience Manager is used to build the websites, which is fine. Right? Let's say I build a clothing website. When I build a clothing website, the next thing that I would want is to look at the metrics of the site. Right? For example, how many users are visiting me from 7 to 2 o'clock? Right? How many mobile users are visiting my website? People who purchase jeans pants, are they looking at jackets? Right? So I want metrics about everything. Right? I want to understand how my website is exactly doing. So Adobe has a solution for that called Adobe Analytics. Now yes, there are different analytics solutions in the market like Google Analytics as well. But Adobe Analytics, again if you look at analytic tools, Adobe Analytics is the leading tool in the market. If you look at Adobe Analytics, leading in market. Yeah. So I hope you understand what analytics solution is. Yeah. It is basically used to get the metrics of user behavior on website. It's usually used to get the metrics of everything, right? How many users visited my website from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, right? How many mobile users, how many users from Australia, how many users from US, right? All these metrics, I could generate a report. What does this metrics help me to do? The metrics helps me to understand which are the better performing pages, which pages have lower number of visitors, and all those things. Right? So Adobe Analytics is leading in the market. The next thing, so whenever I build a website, right, it is always good to have a strong social presence, which means you could integrate with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and all these pages, which is fine with me. In addition to integrating it, okay, let's say I built a clothing website. On Facebook, let's say you're part of some community, you're part of, let's say, a biking community. Now what I would want my website to do is, I would want to build an intelligence where I'm going to pull out all users from Facebook who belong to the biking community and then send a newsletter or send an email to all those people saying, hey, we just built a website called clothing.com and these are the products of interest that are there, or these are the biking jackets that we have, right? So you're able to target the Facebook users, right? Depending on their hobbies, depending on the communities they belong to, you could go and endorse your product. Right? So that's a feature that your Adobe Social gives you. So again, is it the same license cost? No. You need to buy a separate license for each of these solutions. If I just buy a Experience Manager, it doesn't give me the suite of products. So I need to separately buy the suite of products. Right? So now you see that Experience Manager coupled with analytics and social abilities. Now, in addition to having analytics and target, I also have something called target here. So what does Adobe Target give me? So there's a concept called personalization. In personalization, right, showing relevant content to relevant users. Okay. Now let's say the same home page, right, depending on your behavior the last time, I could show a different page, right? Which means the same page creating multiple views for the same page but for different users. That is called personalization. Amazon, for the first time, let's say you purchase books from Amazon. The next time when you log into Amazon, right, the same page would be customized as per your needs, which means you would see top trending books, which are the new books in the market, but the only thing that you're given is the Amazon homepage. The same Amazon homepage shows a different view for different users, but the same URL of a page. That is called personalization. Now, Adobe Target is one such solution which helps me to personalize the entire view for different segment of users. So Adobe Target is a tool that does that. Okay, so now we saw when I couple Experience Manager with these solutions, what I'm finally getting is a very powerful solution, okay, which gives me these solutions that I just talked about. Finally, I have something called campaign management. Right? Now let's say I have built Windows.com on AEM. When I build Windows on AEM, let's say I have a Windows 10 launch the next week. I'm launching Windows 10. So before launching a product, right, the first thing you would want to do is you would want to endorse about that. You would want to build a campaign. So your campaign management is a tool that allows you to generate campaigns. So what are the different kinds of campaigns, right? So for all users who are on Windows, I would want to send a teaser. I could go and send a newsletter. I could go and send an email campaign saying, hey, we are launching the Windows 10. We're going live with Windows 10 next week. Would you want to purchase? Would you want to upgrade it? Right? So that way, this campaign management helps me to create a segment of users. Yeah. Somebody has a question? Okay, Supratim, you had a question?
No. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi, I will hear you.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I will hear you.
Okay. No, right now it's okay. Fine with me.
Fine. Okay, which means...
Yeah. I have two questions. The first one is, like in campaign, we said we can market, based on a specific purpose. But these things can be done also while creating a normal websites, right? I mean, we can create normal website. We can create pages that will tell that, okay, this thing we are going to do. The first question, then why do we need campaign? I mean, what is the different capacity of campaign? This is the first question. The second question is, do you have any idea on what the license cost of AEM?
Yes. The license cost of AEM is $100,000 per instance. Okay, so your entire AEM comes packaged as a license and a jar file. So when you want to roll it out into production, it costs about $100,000 per single instance. So if you want to have multiple instances, the cost would vary depending on the number of instances that you want. I've seen applications where they spend about $1 million a year. Right? This is one of the highest, this is one of the most expensive tools. That's the answer to your second question. The answer to your first question is, you could couple any application with these solutions, right? Which means you need to code. For example, when you want to have analytics, you need to plug in that code. So what Adobe Marketing Cloud does is, configuration is just a simple one-step thing to do. Right? Whereas had you coded the same thing with a Java or a WordPress, you would need to plug in a lot of code, a lot of JavaScript and all that. But this is a very seamless integration, as we call it. Right? So if you look at the ease of integration with all these solutions here, let me show that. Okay, now I haven't moved to AEM yet. I'm only showing you how this Marketing Cloud is available. So if you look at the integration, it's just a simple one line, okay, one step configuration that you need to do. Right? You can straight away go to your cloud service, and in your cloud service, right, you just have to keep on adding the configurations of whatever you want. Now here, do you see that connecting with analytics is very simple here? Okay? Do you see Adobe Analytics here?
Yes.
When you go to this Adobe Analytics here, what you just need is a license. The moment you have a license, right, you could just, they give you a username and a password and which company, and the moment you say okay, your page is good to integrate with analytics, right? Seamless integration. Whereas if you build your own application or if you use any other CMS tool, right, you don't have such a UI, and Adobe Analytics helps you generate reports instantly, which other solutions don't have. Right? So that way, seamless integration and ease of use is why you would prefer to go for a Adobe Marketing Cloud. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Good. Similarly, let's say I want to plug in Adobe Social. The only thing that I need to do here is go to your tools, and there's already Adobe Social here. You go straight away good to go and use it. Again, you need to purchase a separate license for Social. Once you purchase the Social, right, it's just about integrating it. Right? Just one line of, I just have to copy this guy and I'm done. Okay, that's the ease of use. Now you may ask me a question. Okay, so what solutions are we going to learn over this training? So we are going to focus, right? So if you look at this deck here, Experience Manager is at the center, which means you build the website. It is at the core. So we are going to understand this core. Now we may say, hey, I don't want to go for the Adobe Analytics solution. I want to plug in Google Analytics. Yes, you could still go and do that. But the effort may be a little more, but you could still manage. So your AEM can be coupled with any solution. Right? If you see Experience Manager, I created a website. I'm integrating this website with Facebook. I could integrate it with Twitter, Adobe Target, Adobe Campaign, Media Optimizer. Creative Cloud is a solution from Adobe, which is used to create your images, videos, and all of that stuff. And you could integrate with Creative Cloud. You could integrate it with something like a Salesforce CRM. Right? You could integrate it with any video streaming tool. Right? You could integrate with a lot of stuff here. Now you may ask me, okay, so which are some of the most well-known applications? Right? So if you look at some of the most well-known applications that are on AEM, some of the most well-known applications which are on AEM, right? So at least about 20% of the top 1000 Fortune 500 companies, right? Fortune 500 companies are on AEM. Right? Philips, Intel, Chelsea Football, Adobe.com, Harley Davidson, Kellogg's, McDonald's, Volkswagen, Nike. Right? Now let's say for curiosity's sake, you want to find out a list of websites which are on AEM. Right? This curiosity all of us have. One thing we could do is go to something like builtwith.com. There's a very good website which gives you the technology stack of what a website exactly uses. So go to builtwith.com, okay, and here let's say I type in something like a kellogg's.com. Now this gives you the entire underlying technology stack of a website, which is the web server it uses, which is the hosting provider, what is the analytics solution that it uses. So see here, this guy uses Google Analytics. Huh? So what is the video player that it uses? What is the content management system that it uses? Right. So let me type in something like Audi.com. Yeah. So this uses Adobe Analytics, which was previously called Omniture. Yeah. So if you see here, the content management system that this uses is Adobe CQ, right? Audi.com uses. So now, for curiosity site, let's say you want to download a list of all available Adobe CQ sites. Just click on this download list of all Adobe CQ sites. And if you see, there is a lot of work here. Around 23,000 sites are using Adobe CQ sites. So you could go and download this lead list. Okay. You need to create a free account. You could create a free account and download it. Okay. So all the companies that are using this, they're spending huge money. And because they're spending huge money, the features that they get is going to be vast. Okay. Now let us understand why CQ over other CMS tools. Right? Why is that I want to use CQ? So there are a few reasons why you would choose CQ. Right? Some of the features that you see on CQ are not available on other CMS tools. The first one being here AEM gives you something called digital asset management. So if you look at how digital asset what do you mean by digital assets for a website? It could be your images, it could be your PDFs, it could be your videos and so on. your AEM gives you a one-stop shop for all these digital assets, right? A centralized console for managing all your assets. So we have something called DAM admin here. Yeah. So your DAM admin allows you to create digital assets. Now let's say one more thing that AEM allows me to do is it basically allows a user to create multi-channel websites, multi-language websites. So what do I mean by multi-channels? When I say multi-channels, it allows your website to be rendered on devices like your mobile, on your desktop, on PDAs and so on, right? So it's just one development effort and you're able to render it on various devices. Yeah, so it allows you to create multi-channels. Now let's say I have a simple image, right? When I have a simple image, let's upload an image here. So digital asset allows you to upload images. Let's say I upload an image. Let me go to my pictures here and I upload an image. Say upload. Okay. Now yes, so all the assets are stored in a centralized location called digital asset management, called DAM. Now let me refresh this image. Okay. Now if you look at this image, let me double click this image. Now I cannot display the same image on all the devices. On a mobile device it needs to be a little smaller. On a large desktop it needs to be a little bigger. So your AEM, one cool feature here, it is automatically giving you various rendition sizes of the image. Yeah, I could use a 48 cross 48 on a small device. On a little larger device I could use something. On a large screen with 1024 to 1025 I could use a bigger image, right? Which means my AEM is automatically generating these renditions for me. This is called renditions or different image sizes, and depending on the device I could go ahead and use whichever image I want. So basically the DAM is a very powerful asset. So what is the advantage and features of AEM? So one thing here is it integrates the web content management and digital asset management capabilities. This becomes a very important feature. Organizing the assets. So when you talk about large websites, let's say something like Intel.com, right? This has around 10,000 pages within it. Now when you have 10,000 pages, right, you're damn the features, right? And every page that you see here is comprised of images. So your DAM becomes a very powerful solution because it allows you to classify your website into different areas, different renditions, videos, organization of videos and so on. So it offers DAM abilities, which is cool. Next thing that AEM gives you, right, it allows your user to engage, right? It gives you social marketing tools such as blogs, communities, calendars, forums and so on. For example, let's say I open up a website. Now when you want to buy a product, you would want to have a look at the reviews of a product. You would want to find out what others are saying about the product, right? You would want to look at others' comments about the product and then buy a website. Now adding all these community abilities, right, involves a lot of coding effort if you are trying to build up application from scratch. But whereas AEM, what it gives you is, it gives you reusable components, right? Those components are already built in, the rating component, the blocks, the reviews, and all those are already built in. Let me show you that. Let's say I want to buy a t-shirt. If you see this entire e-commerce, whenever I talk about any e-commerce application, what would I have? I would definitely need a cart, correct? I would need a cart. I would want to say how many orders, right? How many items I want to order. Once I add it to a cart, right? It adds it to a cart. All these components are inbuilt, right? So building an e-commerce application becomes very easy. So do you see? An item called t-shirt got added to my cart. Cool. And everything is editable here. These are all reusable components. Any application that I build, look at the effort that it saves. You say a checkout and it takes you to the payment gateway. Right? So basically your AEM gives you inbuilt components for e-commerce here. Right? You just have to fill it, and all of these are editable components here. This is a cool feature in AEM. It gives you e-commerce ability where all the products for e-commerce are built in. I could either customize it or I could straight away go and reuse it. Now let's say when I want to buy this shirt, let's say I want to buy another shorts or whatever. Okay. Now what I was talking about is the review component, the product features. Right? Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have this question. Like in my last project, as you told about this e-commerce system, so in my last project, the website very good called the sm.com. So we were working that site. So front end they have developed from AEM, and for all this pricing and all, they have integrated this AEM with Hybris.
Hybris.
So
Yes, Hybris is.
Yes. So my question was, is AEM not powerful enough to handle this large amount of pages and website and all? Why they are going for Hybris for integration for this e-commerce company?
Got it. So if you look at Hybris, right? Hybris is a SAP based e-commerce tool. Okay. So your AEM is good for small number of products. Okay. Now the reason why they move to something like Hybris is your Hybris has, again, even Hybris gives you all these inbuilt components, right? Like okay, when you want to store large amounts of data, right? So when you want product information, updating the products and all that, there are two reasons why somebody would have chosen Hybris, right? One is if there is large amounts of data and the company already has a license with Hybris, you don't want to buy a separate license and have this, right? Because Hybris has multiple instances that they could use. Okay? And Hybris is a master in e-commerce, which means it supports large amounts of data. It gives you all these features, right? Checkout, all these things. Now the reason, if you add large amounts of product data here, AEM, in addition to giving the view abilities, if it is also trying to store, you need to buy more instances of AEM. And that's the reason somebody would have chosen, or probably they already have a existing license in Hybris, and that's one of the reasons they choose to use Hybris. So you could review Hybris advantages. Now, there are a lot of reasons that could have triggered this. So if you look at Hybris features, yeah, so there are a lot of features that Hybris provides, and I'm not sure what may be the reason that triggered them. Probably they may have had a license. Right? Hybris also, when you have multiple catalogs, pricing information and all those, it is easier to, so Hybris has its own model, data model. Okay? When you have multiple catalogs, organizing the pricing information, sizing information, everything is a little easier in Hybris to organize data. That is one reason that I've seen companies use it. Does it answer your question?
Yes. I have one just follow-up question. So suppose if I'm using AEM for a completely brand new website, will it be able to handle large amount of data alone without any integration?
Definitely. It should be able to organize. But when you want to leverage features, just one instance may not be able to handle large amount of data. So you may need to buy a cluster of instances. Right? You get what I'm saying? You may need to buy a cluster. and then you may need to have a lot of strategy. So AEM may not be able to handle everything, so you need to, for performance, right, you may need to go for some kind of caching strategies. Use something like Akamai, use
Yes.
some dispatchers, use load balancers, and use multiple instances, and it should be able to handle the data. But when you want to leverage the product features, right, for example, catalog management, Hybris is the market. Hybris is the leader in the market. Okay, so people blindly use Hybris. Other than Hybris, there is also Oracle ATG that you could use as an e-commerce solution. I have seen a lot of implementations that use Oracle ATG. Okay. So now, yes, this is the one that I was talking about. If you see here, product summary, reviews, right? Adding reviews is such a simple thing. You could create your own review, right? So all these things is editable. How would you want your reviews to look like? All these are configurable components. Right? All these come as inbuilt components here. Okay. So this is what in AEM, reviews, components, blocks, communities. If you look at something called communities here, if you see here, you could create a new discussion, you could do whatever you want to, right? There is a community component which is available, right? Let's say you go to hiking, you could start a new discussion. Let's say you're a clothing website. To increase the number of users, what you could do is you could create a new event, say a trekking to Manali. When you create a new trekking to Manali, you create an event. So you would see more people logging into your website. Just see the comments, right? You could talk about the trekking. So that way, you're endorsing trekking as well as you're endorsing your website. Hey, we have a new line of jackets for trekking to Manali. Right? So all these things, it basically enables you to create an event as well. Go to calendars. Creating events, again, you don't have any additional effort. You could straight away go and create a new event. Right? On August of 9th, I want to submit an event. Okay. My trekking event, trekking to Manali, starts on some day. Do you see how simple it is to create all this? So these are all reusable components that I could use across any website. Yeah, trekking to Manali on this day. I also can create a blog. I can talk about my jeans pad. I could talk about any product that my website has. Which again, all this is provided as part of a new component. So this is an editable component. There are a lot of settings that you could have here. Deny reports, deny all these things. Right? So basically, if you look at the explanation here, your AEM offers several social marketing tools such as blogs, communities, calendars, forums, and ratings to engage the users with visitors and customers across different social media channels. It gives you the DAM abilities. It also gives you an ability called multi-site manager. Right? Whenever you talk about large websites, what you would have is multi-language websites, right? I've seen websites that have over 40 languages in AEM. Okay. So now, do you need to build the website for every single language each time? No, not at all. You have something called multi-language support, multi-site management. When you want to build websites for mobile, when you want to build websites for different channels, it's just one-time activity and you can roll it out to different languages and different devices. How does that happen? That happens because of my multi-site manager capabilities. So if you look at the UI, hey, we have not got into depth of anything. I'm just giving you a high-level overview of what your tool allows you to do. So it's always good to know what exactly it gives you before exactly getting into depth. Now if you look at multi-site, there's something called multi-site manager here, which allows you to create various websites, various pages, various configurations, and it allows you to roll it out to different languages. Okay, that is your multi-site manager. Okay. Finally, your AEM allows you to create personalized web pages, right, showing relevant pages to relevant users. The same page can be showed in different ways to different users, so you are tailoring to the needs of the user. That's your personalization. Yeah. So these are some of the advantages of AEM, right, which is all seamless integration, seamless features, seamless reusable components here. Okay. Now, this is how your training is going to be every single day. Today we looked at, this is a demo session where at a high level we understand, okay, how your AEM is better over other CMS tools. How do you find out if a website is built with AEM? What are some of the best sites that are in AEM? And what are some of the features, advantages of AEM over other websites? Okay. So now this was how your demo went through. Tomorrow onwards, if you guys try to continue with the session, I'm going to hand over the distribution of AEM. I'm going to hand over the materials, and we are straight away going to get started and understand the different stakeholders and all those other extra stuff. Okay. And whatever we do on each day, you would get the notes for that. You would get extra URLs, questions, and all of that stuff. Okay. That is how your training is going to go. Any questions for me, guys? So we'll stop it here today.
Yeah, Rishi, I have few questions here.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so could you please tell us a few specific skills that we would be requiring for AEM? I mean, if you could tell us, we will be starting from today onwards, and yeah. So
okay, perfect. So for AEM, some of the basic stuff that I require from you is a little bit of core Java. Hey Ashish.
Hey, hi Rishi.
Ashish, the session is at 7:30. I sent an email. Right?
Okay.
We're beginning about another 15 minutes from now on, Ashish.
Okay, sure. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, so some of the skills that you may require is core Java. In core Java, I don't want you to know everything. Right? I want you to know collections. I want you to know the concepts of JVM. And one more thing that I also want is JSP is something that I require. I want you to go through the different tags of JSP. Custom tag creation. Let me add it and call it as prerequisites. Core Java, collections, JVM. In JSP, different tags. Creation of custom tag in JSP is important. Implicit objects in JSP, understand the concept. Just, you could see small YouTube videos on this. Implicit objects. Little bit of JavaScript, just a basic level of debugging, basic level of understanding of jQuery as well. HTML5, it's good if you know, even if you don't know, right? Once you learn from the classes, you could go and explore. This is only prerequisite that I would require. Core Java string manipulations.
And
Corrections? Yeah.
Yeah. So the second question is, I mean, in the training, you are going to show us a live project or something.
Yes, we are going to build a new, we are going to look at various live projects, and we are going to pick up some of the most frequently built components and create a new website from scratch.
So because the new website being that company one, right? I mean, my company, that navigation component, not that one. Is there any new website you are planning to show?
No, that's the my company one, like what all you're going to build. So the components you're going to build is going to be the navigation, right? The navigation we see any live project that you see also is going to have the same navigation, same image component, search component, logo component, title component, how to create dialogues, how to create all those things. So that is going to be at a developer level. If you already know that, you could probably join the advanced developer. Have you worked on setting up a Maven project and all that stuff?
Yes, yes, that all I have done. Yes, yes. Building a project from scratch. We are using Archetype 10, Archetype 7, I guess.
You're using which one?
7, Archetype 7.
Okay, Archetype 7, okay. So
Okay,
you
so it's
worked
an
on
old
event.
project, so yeah, they were using. Now we have multiple modules, but we are using Archetype 7.
Okay, so you have worked on all these event listeners, link servlets, all those concepts you're already aware of.
String servers, I have worked on it. Event listener, I'm still reading about it.
Oh, you're still reading about it. Okay, see, Saurabh, like I'm going to send you the topic list.
Okay.
The real time when it comes to component development, one thing I could do is I could show you this is how it is built, right? I cannot show you the source code of some existing project. I could only give you the fundamentals here. Have a look at those topic list, and that the topic list is what we're going to cover.
Okay.
So it should not be that you already know something and you're attending the training. Okay, go through the
No,
topic.
see, of course, you are some architect, but I mean, you have a lot of knowledge.
Okay. But again, I may not be able to share any, so let me set the expectation very clear, right? I'm not going to share any code of real-time projects. That is not something that I'm going to do. It's just if you've already undergone a developer and advanced developer training, going through this training may not be of much use to you. You may probably want to look at admin training or advanced training. Yeah, it's the same title, but one thing is I could give you assignments, new requirements, but if you're already a master in creating various dialogues and all
No,
that
I'm
stuff,
not master, please, I'm not a master.
Okay. Okay. Because just for the sake of, I just don't want you to join just for the sake of joining, right? You need to add some, you need to get some value out of this.
See, I mean, you are telling us a lot of new things, right? So that's why I wanted to join. You have a lot of experience.
Okay. But again, even though I have a lot of experience, I have a syllabus that I would need to talk about.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yes, I agree completely. Yes.
Yeah, Saurabh, see, the others who are attending, I don't know if everybody is at the same thing, right? Kaushik, are you also on the same page?
Hello?
Kaushik? Yeah, hi Kaushik and Shikha.
Yeah, actually, I am the new one, fully new one for this.
Fully new, right. So, yeah, so
Yes,
Saurabh,
yes.
you
I have no
understand
idea
my
about this. That's
Yes,
why I need
I completely understand. Yes, I understand.
Perfect. And Supratim, how is your experience?
Yes, I'm the fully new one.
Yeah, I got it. At least today's demo, it made sense to you?
Yeah.
This is so I need to start from scratch, Saurabh. So if you've already worked on development of components, I don't know if it's going to be the same old thing for you. Okay. So probably you could have a look at the topic list, and I think there is day 1 and day 2 videos also, which Srini would have shared. Look at those videos. That's the kind of coverage that we're going to have.
Okay, I had only one video actually, your first session. So if you could send us any middle session, so that way I'll be able to judge,
Okay. I will send you one video recording. Okay. I'll have one. I'm going to send you one recording for you, Saurabh. Have a look at that.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going to, the same topic list is the coverage, and additionally I'm going to give you some information which I don't know I don't know your level of expertise, okay, but I need to start from scratch.
Yeah, I'm a beginner, please. Yeah, I'm a beginner. I'm still learning.
Perfect. Okay, because if you already know the dialogue, if you already know the servlet, I'm going to explain about this.
I know basics of all these things. I have created all these things, but yeah, as I said, I wanted to know in depth actually what a node, what mixin and all, how to manipulate mixins and also those things I wanted to know.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be a combination of everything.
Yes. Yeah. So you can share some advanced some extra videos.
I will share 1 or 2 videos with you. You evaluate those videos and you could come back.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Perfect, guys. So the others like Kaushik and Supratim, yeah, we're going to start from scratch. We're going to build everything. We're going to understand the fundamentals of everything.
Yeah.
I pay importance to fundamentals more than advanced concepts. So if you have your fundamentals strong, you could build any website. Okay, that's going to be the thing.
Yes.
I will share this demo recording. I'll share a couple of slides. I'll share a few URLs. Okay, there are small 2-minute videos which I want you guys to look at before coming in for the next session. And like, what is the time slot for you guys? Are you okay in the morning or evening? 9 o'clock works, 9:30?
Yeah, evening will do. I mean, because in the morning we have to leave for office and also.
Okay. How about the others? Supratim and Kaushik, what is your preferred time slot?
Actually, morning is no problem for me. In the morning, from 6 a.m. is no problem. Maybe it's a good timing for me also.
Okay.
For me too.
Also, so we can shift a bit earlier, or 5 to 7.
Let's do this. Okay. Go ahead, look at the demo again. Okay. And once you kind of confirm saying, hey, okay, I'm interested, I want to attend this. Okay. Take time, okay, and look at it. Once you're convinced, let Srini know about your preferred timing slots. Okay. He may propose a couple of slots. Once I get the confirmation, we'll see how things go. We'll take it up.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect, guys. I'm glad to have met you all. Let's see how things go. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Bye guys.